Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Today I will be ranking the albums by the band Saxon. I have 23 studio albums. I'm not including the covers album that did Inspirations, that was from last year. I didn't include that one. And I want to go through these very quickly, otherwise this video is going to be very long. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I will be doing it in my off-screen format like I did the previous Jethro Tull ranking. I feel like if it's a long ranking, that works better. So not wasting any more time, let me just jump right into it. At number 23, I have Forever Free from the year 1992. On this album, they're going for a Motley Crue type of sound. I guess that was a sound that was big at the time. Songs like Just Want to Make Love to You have this hair metal sound. Other songs like Get Down and Dirty have a sound similar to AC/DC. I think this is okay, but Saxon is a band, they're best when they play very heavy. At number 22, I have Solid Ball of Rock from 1991. Another album, they were going for that hair metal sound that was popular during that time. So title track sounds a little like Def Leppard. Requiem, We Will Remember. It's a catchy power ballad. Not that bad, but this is not the band at their best. Baptism of Fire is a decent song, but it has that classic sound. But again, I have this one at number 22. At number 21, I have Destiny from 1988. So this album opens with a cover of Ride Like the Wind. It's kind of cheesy, I guess. Where the Lightning Strikes, that has a very 80s hair metal sound. Calm Before the Storm, that one reminds me of AC/DC again, but they incorporate these arena rock keyboards, not really something that Saxon is really known for. It's probably not the best sound for the band, but they were doing what was popular at the time. At number 20, I have Rock the Nations from 1986. This one's not that bad. It has a sound similar to AC/DC with the title track. Battle Cry reminds me of 80s Kiss. Party Till You Puke is not really the type of song that this band plays, but they were going for that blues hair metal sound on that one. So again, this album is just okay for me. At number 19 is Innocence Is No Excuse from 1985. This is the first of their hair metal period. The album opens with a power ballad called Rockin' Again. Cold the Wild has a classic heavy metal sound. That one's pretty good. Rock and Roll Gypsy, that one has some pretty cool riffs. And the band reminds me a lot of Wasp on this album. And also Raise Some Hell, that has a sound similar to Motley Crue. So this album is okay as well. At number 18, I have Power and Glory from the year 1983. So the title track is a sound similar to Iron Maiden, 2 Minutes to Midnight. Some of the other songs have a similar sounds. There's a power ballad, Nightmare. The song This Town Rocks, that kind of remind me of that David Lee Roth, Van Halen, type of sound. Watching the Sky has a classic hair metal sound. So again, this album is a slight improvement, but it's okay. At number 17, I have Crusader from 1984. This one's actually lower than I thought it would be, but this one has lots of variety. So we got A Little Bit of What You Fancy, has some Van Halen worship on it. Just Let Me Rock, it's classic 80s heavy metal. Do It All For You has a classic power metal sound. Rock City, that one reminded me of Twisted Sister. Even though this does have a hair metal sound, I feel that this album is kind of better than the ones that preceded it. At number 16, I have Unleash the Beast from 1997. So on this album, they go in a more a heavy metal and speed metal direction. So some of the best songs are Circle of Light, it has a very heavy metal riffs and melodic sound. Bloodletter, it's a decent song, has classic heavy metal sound. Cut Out the Disease, that kind of has a heavy doomy sound. And many of the other songs still have that 80s hair metal sound, so that's why I have it at number 16. At number 15, I have Dogs of War from 1995. So on this album, they get a little heavier. They still have that hair metal sound on many of the songs. Best songs, Dogs of War, has a straightforward heavy metal sound. The Great White Buffalo, I really like that one. It has a cool Black Sabbath type of riff in the intro. The rest of the album is okay, but not very memorable. At number 14, I have Metalhead from 1999. So on this album, they do start to get heavier. The title track is a darker, heavier sound. Conquistadors is a fast-paced song with some traditional heavy metal riffs. What Goes Around, that has kind of like a new metal or industrial metal sound, and this album is different, but it's not that bad, so I have it at number 14. At number 13, I have the Inner Sanctum from 2007. This is a decent album. Opening track, State of Grace, that has like an Iron Maiden feel to it. Need for Speed, that's a fast-paced song in the style of like Judas Priest, maybe like that like Painkiller era. Let Me Feel Your Power, another speed metal song. If I Was You, that one reminded me of like classic 80s metal. And the last track, Attila the Hun. 8-minute epic heavy metal song reminded me of that classic like Rainbow Ordeal. So this is a very good album. All the albums like after this are very good. At number 12, I have Lionheart from 2004. So the opening track, Witchfinder General, that has that classic like new wave of British heavy metal sound. Man and Machine, a very heavy riff, lots of energy on that song. The title track, sound reminiscent of like 80s metal. To Live by the Sword has some pretty cool like machine gun riffing, and also the power ballad Searching for Atlantis. So this has a very like power metal, classic heavy metal style to it. I like this album. At number 11, I have Killing Ground from 2001. Opening track, Killing Ground, kind of has like an 80s metal sound, some heavy riffs. They have a cover of Court of the Crimson King from King Crimson. I really like that. A lot of metal bands like to cover, 21st Century Schizoid Man, but they went for this song, and I like that. Hell Freezes Over, that kind of reminded me a little of AC/DC, pretty cool song. Dragon's Lair has a classic new wave of British heavy metal sound. So this is a very good album. At number 10, I have the new album Carpe Diem from 2022. Lots of great songs here. The title track, a very heavy song. The Pilgrimage, really cool power ballad. Remember the Fallen, a classic heavy metal song. It's about about COVID. I do have a full review of this, and I will link it at the end of the video. At number 9, I have Saxon, the self-titled debut from 1979. It has a sound of like 70s heavy metal, similar to a band like Scorpions. We got Big Teaser, a very classic heavy metal sound. Judgment Day reminds me of like classic Rainbow or Scorpions. Stallions of the Highway, kind of that classic like early Iron Maiden sound. So this is a very good album. At number 8, I have Wheels of Steel from 1980. So this is one of their classic albums. We got Stand Up and Be Counted, a classic heavy metal song. 747, Strangers in the Night, one of the most well-known songs, very catchy song. Wheels of Steel, very classic heavy guitar riff in that one. This album does have a heavy guitar-driven sound, so if you like classic heavy metal, definitely give this one a listen. At number 7, I have an album released that same year in 1980 called Strong Arm of the Law. Another classic album, so we got Heavy Metal Thunder, that has the classic new wave of British heavy metal sound. To Hell and Back Again, another one with that early like Iron Maiden type of sound. And my favorite song is called Dallas 1 p.m. It's a song about the assassination of JFK. And that one I've always liked for a long time. So this is a really great album. These next few albums are going to come from the later period. I feel that this band has like improved over time. So number 6 is Into the Labyrinth from 2009. Now, Live to Rock, really great song, reminding me of like classic Van Halen. Demon Sweeney Todd, very haunting and atmospheric intro, but this is a very heavy, like speed metal type of song. And Valley of the Kings, just classic heavy metal, so this is a very like solid album from their later period. At number 5, I have Call to Arms from 2011. This one starts with some classic heavy metal with Hammer of the Gods. Has some slower doomy stuff with Back in 79. We got a power ballad, Mists of Avalon. Title track is another power ballad. And then we have No Rest for the Wicked, just classic heavy metal. So this is just a really great heavy album. At number 4, I have Thunderbolt from 2018. Now, this album came out around the same time as Judas Priest Firepower. And I think it's like just as good as that album. Thunderbolt, just high energy heavy metal. The Secret of Flight has some cool guitar riffs and drums. We got Nosferatu, very slow, haunting song. Reminding me of that classic, like early, like Ozzy Osbourne. Sons of Odin, just very heavy doom metal. And this album has a lot to offer. This is like one of the first Saxon albums I ever like listened to, and it kind of got me into the band. At number 3 is Sacrifice from 2013. Like I said, I do enjoy the later Saxon albums a lot. Sacrifice has a speed metal sound to it. Made in Belfast, very cool intro, some heavy riffs right before the first verse. Night of the Wolf, just classic like speed metal, and Wheels of Terror, just classic heavy metal with some crushing riffs. So this is a very solid album. At number 2 is Battering Ram from 2015. This is another recent album that is underrated. Title track reminds you of like that classic like Megadeth, has some like heavy opening riffs. Queen of Hearts has a very classic heavy metal sound. Eye of the Storm, another classic heavy metal song. And this album is just packed with heavy riffs, and that's just why I have it at number 2. And for number 1, I went with one of their classic albums with Denim and Leather from 1981. I think it just has their best songs. The album has a nice flow to it, and it's just a nice like representation of like their classic period. So we have Princess of the Night, one of their most well-known songs, again, very great one. Never Surrender, classic old school heavy metal. Play It Loud, kind of reminded me a little of AC/DC, but I still like that one a lot. And the band's Played On, just classic 70s style hard rock. And the title track, a really great anthem. You know, they talk about like being on the road and like what was going on in the early 80s. And this is an album I've always like gone back to. I really like this one a lot, so that's why I have it at my number 1. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, I have a full review of the new Saxon album Carpe Diem that will be linked right over there, as well as the one I did last year for inspiration. So please click on either one of those videos if you're interested. Otherwise, please remember, like, comment, subscribe. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews, and I will see you all in the next one.